This video is a super simple video about how to make your own plain sugar-free yogurt without any kinds of additives with equipment that you have around the house. So I have everything here that you need to make yogurt. You need a saucepan big enough to hold your milk, a little bit of yogurt to start with. Any yogurt that has live active cultures, as long not a sugary flavor one, a plain one. Milk, whichever kind of milk you want, whole, skim, low fat. I always use 1% because that's what we drink in our house. And then a vessel to make the yogurt in. I use this one. It looks sort of special, but really you can use any kind of ceramic or glass bowl that you can cover. Don't use a metal or a plastic bowl, those won't work, but any kind of ceramic. I guess porcelain would work too, but I think most of us have either a Pyrex or a ceramic bowl of some sort that we can use. So it's almost not even a recipe, you'll see. So this is, I'm going to move the camera closer now. Oh, should I? Maybe not, I'll leave it where it was. So I'm just taking my pan and I'm going to fill it with as much milk as I want. However much milk I put in, that's how much yogurt I'm making. And my starter isn't working on my stove, so I have to start it. And you're going to boil the milk. The hardest part of this whole recipe is making sure that you don't let the milk boil over. That's the biggest problem I have. So you get distracted by something else in the kitchen, and the milk boils over. So now I'm going to leave the milk here to boil. And I will, when I see that it's starting to boil, I'll turn the video back on. Okay, so I think it's the critical time. I'll show you what the milk looks like. I don't know if you can see it. It's sort of starting to bubble, bubbly at the top. We don't want it to be a rolling boil, but we can start to see that it's rising up in the pan. And I just wait for it to rise a little bit more, and then I'll turn the heat off. Let's just watch it while it happens. It's been around 10 minutes since I turned the heat on below, but you can turn the heat on lower or higher depending on how carefully you think you're going to pay attention to it. So it's just gently rising in the pan, and I don't know if you can see, it looks a little bit frothy and foamy. I'm going to turn it off now. As long as it doesn't boil, as long as it reaches this level and doesn't boil over, it's okay if it foams up a little bit more. I'm going to turn it off and we'll move on to the next part. Now actually, it's up to you how you want to do it. You can either leave it in the pan and let it cool in the pan, which takes a little longer because the pan is actually already heated up. What I've been doing is transferring the hot milk to my vessel and letting it cool in the vessel. So let me do that. A place where you can see everything I'm doing. Oops, my tea is there in the way. Let me get that out of the way. Okay, so I'm just going to pour the milk in here. Now I happen to know that my container holds just a little less than half a gallon of milk. It's about 7 cups. I measured the 7 cups, but I know it's about half a gallon. And so that's important for knowing how much yogurt starter to add to the milk when it cools off. So now I've put it in this vessel. It's really hot. Like if I touch the outside, I have to take my hands away. It's boiling milk. I'm just going to leave it like this, uncovered, to cool, and I will set a timer to remind me to come and check it in around 10 minutes, and then after that I'll check it every 5 minutes because you don't want it to get cold. First you want to heat it up to make sure, I guess we heat it up to make sure that the milk is sterilized, and then we want to cool it down to just comfortable enough to touch the outside of the bowl without burning the hands. I think if you have a thermometer, it's about 105 degrees that we're aiming to get it down to. But I just do it by touch. It's not super sensitive. So now we're just going to wait. Okay, so now the milk has cooled off. Oh, it doesn't show on there. Let me move the camera so you can see what I'm doing. Milk is cooled off. I can comfortably touch the outside of the container. I've washed my hands, they're clean. I can put my finger in the milk. It feels like a somewhat hot bath, not a very hot bath, but a somewhat hot bath. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my spoon, and I'm just going to take a big full tablespoonful of yogurt, maybe just a tiny bit, half a tablespoon more, and put it in my smaller bowl and dip it in the milk and stir. I'm going to stir it until it's well blended with all the milk and the yogurt are well blended. And then I'm going to pour it in to the bigger bowl of milk, rinse it out until I've cleaned this out of all the yogurt and set that aside. I'm going to stir. I'm just going to stir it for about 30 seconds. In the meantime, while the milk was cooling, I preheated the oven just to 170, and right before and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir this like I have now and cover it up. I preheated the oven and now I'm going to turn it off. And I think my oven got a little hotter, but I'm going to take my warm bowl of milk that's covered, and I'm going to set it in the warm oven. Oven is warm, but it's not on. And now I'm going to leave it for around 6 hours. And in 6 hours, I hope to come back and find it made into yogurt, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, now it's 10 hours later, and I'm going to take the yogurt out of the oven. You can see that it's, I don't know if you can really see how thick it is. Let me show you. Here we go. And it came out just right. Different things can happen if you put in too much starter. It can get sort of cloddy and break up, and it still tastes okay, but the texture is all wrong. And of course, if you don't put enough starter in, or if the milk is too hot or the oven is too hot when you put the starter in, it might not turn into yogurt at all. Never fear if it doesn't turn into yogurt at all. You can always just add some more starter, stir it around, and usually wait a couple hours and it'll turn into yogurt anyhow. So that's it. Making yogurt without any special equipment. Tasty.